Hi everybody! In this video, we'll talk about Chinese learners. Since you are teaching Chinese students now, it's essential for you to understand the cultural background for your own comfort. Chinese culture is very strong. Your students will make better progress if you understand and respect it. Here are some of the most obvious and relevant differences. Let's take a look at it. First, let's talk about the importance of learning and education and the attitudes toward teachers and homework. In Chinese viewpoint, education is serious and formal. Teachers are expected to tell the student exactly what they need to know, and the students are expected to respect the teachers and work hard and do a lot of homework in order to succeed. And sometimes, appearance of studying, like being present and learning a list of words, seems to be more important than being engaged in learning. Second, let's talk about the styles of education and learning in school and students' behavior and motivation. In Chinese point of view, factual information is important, fantasy is not. Science wins over arts. And students expect to be taught steps to solve problems, and teachers must not be questioned and challenged. And reading is just the decoding of information and facts rather than a pleasurable occupation or observing opinions to be responded to. So it comes to a surprise to them to find that they are expected to solve problems without necessarily being told exactly how, and there could be even more than one answer to one question. So you want to facilitate and model problem solving and ask your student to be actively involved rather than passively observing, and encourage your students to question you and help them to discover that learning English is just a constructive process. Number 3, let's talk about families and home life. In mainland China, until very recently, only the wealthy families who could afford the funds or the ethnic minorities from rural areas were permitted to have more than one child. So most children have no siblings, no aunts or uncles. Each child has 6 doting adults, parents and grandparents, pressuring them to succeed for the sake of the families. On top of that, there are far more boys than girls, and boys were always treated more with deference than girls. And number 4, let's talk about the importance of face. Nobody likes to be looked at silly or be made to look stupid, right? But in China, you will have to notice that losing face is a much, much bigger issue than that with Chinese people, especially adults and with children and teenagers. So if you notice there's a change in your students, you might consider that they have lost their face. So you should just search for ways for them to save their face again. Okay, after talking about this, so how to handle the cultural differences in the classroom setting? Depending on the age and the ability of your student, open discussion times about cultural expectations can make the students more sensitive about the other culture. For example, you could talk about the s'mores that you will have when you go for the camping trip. And the Chinese students could talk a lot about more the Spring Festival. So enjoy the respect you get from just being a teacher and pay more attention to these differences to keep on earning your students' respect by being an effective and fun teacher. Good luck!